SW6 versus N17. This Capital One Cup final does have a capital theme, and it has plenty of pyrotechnics as well. The 55th League Cup final, a rerun of the 48th when Spurs came from behind to beat Chelsea 2-1 in the first climax of this competition to be staged here at the new Wembley. Tottenham have not won a trophy since then. Will that wait be over for those Spurs fans? Jadon Duong, 6 years old, with a special job today to bring on the match ball for the referee there, Anthony Taylor. Presentation party, including Ray Clements, who's numbered Tottenham amongst his clubs, a man who has won plenty of football matches and won battles with his health as well. He's representing Prostate Cancer UK, the Football League's official charity partner.
Supporter Prostate Cancer UK, official charity partner of the Football League.
Also there, Chris Newkirk, head of international Capital One, and Greg Clark, the chairman of the Football League. Both these clubs 4 times winners of the competition. Chelsea's 7th final, Tottenham's 8th. John Terry and Petr Cech, Alan Smith, they've great experience, haven't they, of cup finals here?
Yeah, I mean, as well as the fine talent they've got in this team, they have also got an edge, you could argue, on Tottenham with that kind of big match experience. Kind of experience that Jose Mourinho will hope will tell in the end.
Well, he's not talking about it, but he's had a good day already with the news of the result from Anfield. Manchester City, their closest rivals in the Premier League, beaten by Liverpool.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding.
The national anthem, led by the London Youth Choir.
The London Youth Choir junior section, part of Capital One's team of Little Legends.
Little Legends have been called by the sponsors here. Well, let's have a check on the big legends who are playing in this final today. Chelsea cover the absence of the suspended Matic by recalling Ramirez and including all 3 of their first-choice centre-backs. Petr Cech's vast experience of finals with the club earns him the voting goal over Courtois. Cesar Azpilicueta also in, preferred to Felipe Luis, the only player to start all the 5 previous matches for Chelsea in this competition. Eden Hazard has a Wembley occasion to mark his 150th game for the club. Tottenham, as expected, revert from their Europa League lineup to the Premier League side for the Capital One Cup final. Just one change from last Sunday's draw against West Ham. Nasser Chadli in place of Eric Lamela, and just one change from the 11 which started the 5-3 win over Chelsea on New Year's Day. Centre-back Eric Dyer has edged out the South American defender Federico Fazio. A splendid occasion. What will the match produce? Chelsea should be the more refreshed. Spurs have played twice since their opponents were last in action, and they've had to travel to Italy. They stayed over on Thursday night. They trained on Friday before flying home to Stansted Airport yesterday. Wembley, an absolute picture.
You can look at Liverpool, Martin, can't they? Tottenham as an example. They had a tough trip to Turkey, which they lost as well in, but plenty of energy at Anfield today against Manchester City. And Tottenham will need a bit of that. Some legs here. These big, wide open spaces.
Eriksen trying to get there. Willian, who so nearly signed for Spurs, and Chelsea rather pinched the Brazilian from them. And Gary Cahill alongside John Terry, and Kurt Zouma is the one more in Eriksen's territory ahead of the back four. Here's Hazard. He has played here before with Belgium.
Well, he's a man marker. I think he's happiest when he can get hold of somebody and concentrate on that opponent. Bit of the William Gallas about him. It's a big, big afternoon for the youngster.
Willian takes, and certainly Chelsea have plenty of aerial power. Terry, Cahill, Ivanovic, all up from the back, capable of scoring a goal. Selection of the two goalkeepers kept us guessing as well, with Cech preferred to Courtois, and Lloris playing in the competition for the first time this season. Certainly having a close-up view of these early exchanges as Chelsea come at Spurs again. Hazard. Azpilicueta. Here's Zouma. Cahill had a lot of problems with Harry Kane in the game on New Year's Day. Prior to that, of course, Chelsea did beat Spurs at Stamford Bridge 3-0. Diego Costa's offside here. Costa didn't play in that game, incidentally. He was suspended, and Matic is suspended today. And he's been such a key component of all Chelsea have achieved so far this season. And of course, they're still under Jose Mourinho's second coming, looking for the first trophy. First time around it was this competition 10 years ago, and the final was played in Cardiff. And it was an all-London affair. They beat Arsenal. That's one of the Tottenham Londoners, Ryan Mason. These clubs met in the FA Cup final back in the 60s. They called it the Cockney Cup final, but I don't think it's quite so appropriate given the international nature of football for these two teams, and generally in the Premier League these days. Andros Townsend trying to whip it in.
Yeah, nice little spell of possession for Spurs, whose players might be a little bit more nervous than the Chelsea lads.
Willian hesitated, and Danny Rose stepped in. Fantastic volume of support here.
Harry Kane had a great time against Gary Cahill and John Terry at White Hart Lane, so he won't be too disappointed to see Cahill at the back again.
He also played very well in the 3-0, hitting the bar at Stamford Bridge. And a fantastic development this season. A surprise maybe even Mauricio Pochettino, his manager, didn't want to pick him for the Premier League for a while. First name on the team sheet these days. Rose. Clever touch by Ivanovic. Willian. Oh, and Kyle Walker was actually turning around 360 degrees, and not the right way to defend, but when he spun round, the ball was actually there for him to deal with. He's given it straight to Zuma. He has to scamper back. He's quick, but he's got ground to make up here against Hazard. He goes on. Ramirez and Fabregas. Backed up by Azpilicueta.
It's going to be a fascinating battle over on that left-hand side. Hazard against Walker.
Diego Costa. And Ramirez's shot is blocked. And this is what Zuma's there to try and snuff out in the shape of Eriksen. He's alongside him, but it wasn't he who forced the error in the end. Diego Costa against the youngster Eric Dyer, and Costa's natural aggression coming to the surface very quickly.
He's in the penalty area if he thinks it's a foul. It didn't take long. It's a really good tackle from Eric Dyer. Maybe he takes objection to the little afters there. The flick of the boot from Dyer. But he's got to be aggressive, he's got to be positive, as Eric Dyer today, against one of the world's best attackers. He's got all the tricks in the book.
One of the best teams when it comes to converting corners as well at Chelsea. But just a thought, Alan, as to why Zuma's playing in between Ramirez and Fabregas. Against Bradford City, they ended up with Ramirez and Fabregas as a midfield two. They were 2-1 up in the FA Cup at home, and they lost 4-2. And Jose Mourinho's obviously taken that into account. He's got to play Ramirez today because of the absence. Mikel's injured, Matic suspended, Ake was on the bench, probably someone who could play in there more naturally, just hasn't had the first team experience to do it.
Well, he's shown faith in him in his natural position at the back, and he obviously feels he can do that job. As I said, I think he likes it if he's given a specific role. Make sure you stay close to Eriksen, so we'll see how he gets on, because he's up against a really clever customer in the Dane. It's been a good start from Chelsea though, nice and bright. Hazard on that left looked very sharp.
Terry on the move. Turns to Ivanovic. That's dipping awkwardly. Hugo Lloris had to improvise. It was very awkward for the Tottenham skipper.
And I think Gary Cahill there just holding down his man. It was an awkward one. Does well.
He's only played 2 League Cup games for Spurs, Lloris, and they've lost them both. They could be losing there. Ivanovic 4 goals in his last 6 games.
They've got so many targets, haven't they, when you think of the 2 centre-halves, Cahill, Terry, Zuma, and this man who's right in amongst the goals. They look a bit nervous from these situations early on here, Tottenham.
Kane. Here's Rose. Keeps going, Danny Rose, and sadly can't quite find him. Maybe Kane can do a bit more. Oh, look how many Chelsea players it took to stop him, and they couldn't do it fairly. A little cameo of what Harry Kane's all about, and the measure of confidence that he's got against everybody, really, but especially against Chelsea.
Talk about his goals, about his work rate, but what about this for footwork? Sensational stuff from him. That'll do him a lot of good on the big stage. Might just do Tottenham a bit of good here from, what, 23 yards out or so. We know who'll fancy it, Christian Eriksen.
He's already eyeing up the angles.
He likes the top left.
There's 2 goals in the second leg of the semi-final at Sheffield United. brought Tottenham here. The first was a free kick. And Eriksen goes. Oh, and he hits the bar. It's back into play as well. And then really skied away by Ryan Mason.
That's a brilliant effort. Absolutely brilliant. Just going in between Costa and Ivanovic. Not the best wall in the world. Really did catch it well, just can't quite get the dip. I think Cech perhaps would have got a fingertip on it, wouldn't he?
Well, Chelsea have not been behind in the Capital One Cup this season. They very nearly were there. Eriksen again. Touched off by Mason. Another of the success stories for Spurs this season. He finally made his Premier League debut for the club 6 years after his first game. He's a late substitute in a European tie. Willian. This Wembley, almost a second home for Chelsea. They've played here 12 previous times in cup finals, semi-finals and community shields. Kane. And Andros Townsend drew defenders away, and Kane using the space and does like to drill the ball with his right foot towards the opposite bottom corner.
He just dragged John Terry out there by feinting to go inside and uses the space. Would have been a heck of an effort to beat Cech from there, but he's got the confidence.
Dyer. Walker, of course, played here for England. This has Andros Townsend in front of him. Bentaleb. Of course, last season Manchester City came here and won the League Cup and then went on to win the Premier League as well. It's a blueprint that the Blues of Chelsea would love to follow. Footwork from a former Argentina international, Mauricio Pochettino. Bentaleb. Dyer. Forward by Walker. Taken down by Kane. You know what you're going to get from Andros Townsend? Aggression, confidence. Playing it from outside to in, often on his left foot, but not frightened to go down the line.
No, he'll do well to get much change from Azpilicueta. He's a fantastic defender and got pace to match.
Eriksen finding space from the throw and finding a shot that didn't get very far. Followed up by Ryan Mason, whose only goal for Spurs came in their first game in this competition against Nottingham Forest. Diego Costa will have to wait for some support here. Williams got up with him, Ramirez coming as well. And then Hazard! Swift counter-attack.
Yeah, it was a clever ball out, wasn't it, from Azpilicueta. Beautifully weighted towards Costa, and he does just have to hold it up. Trying to feed this one, Eden Hazard, into the right-hand corner. And at the other end, takes a deflection and does strike the hand of Ramirez, but he's got no chance to move it out of the way. It's in a natural position for me.
Anthony Taylor in a good position. He is renowned amongst the Premier League referees as the top man fitness-wise. Eriksen. Mason. Asking a bit of Townsend there. Mason goes and gets it back. Townsend will take it on. A little bit of a sticky start by Spurs here, but they've certainly come to terms with it. The occasion and the opposition, they've already rocked Petr Cech's crossbar. And here's Chadley. One of the scorers in the 5 at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, those wide lads today important for Spurs. Chadley and Townsend.
Ericsson. Bentaleb. Vertonghen, I think it's fair to say, is not Jose Mourinho's favourite Tottenham player, if he has one. Ericsson. Too much for Townsend to take. He's spotted something. Down for the half-time team talk. Still over half an hour away. It's short from Bentaleb, but he's been able to stretch and tow it back Tottenham's way.
It's a new look midfield for Mourinho, isn't it? And it might just take a little time for them to settle into it, that 3-man midfield.
Townsend. Chadley coming in from the opposite side. It's too high for Ericsson. He was out of the equation that time on the edge of the area, brought out by Willian. And Diego Costa take up the cudgels again. Rose. Ramirez might say he couldn't have pulled out of that, but definitely penalised for it.
Yeah, a lot worse than it did because of the little flip.
Undoubtedly, it took a while for Pochettino's strict fitness regime to bite into the Tottenham style of play. Now they like to be fast starters. To use their recovery rates here, though. Is Hazard. Willian. Hazard. Ivanovic just loping up outside him. Hazard weakens the decoy. And Rose lured into a challenge.
Well, it's the man that attracts so many challenges like this and gets caught so many times because of his quick feet. This is another example on the stretch.
Chelsea have signed a lucrative new sponsorship deal with the Yokohama Rubber Company, and there was a suggestion to Jose Mourinho on Friday that they might be able to make some special shin pads for Eden Hazard. The manager suggested steel would be a stronger substance. I remember saying earlier in the season, Alan, that Hazard actually, in a strange way, loves being fouled because it shows that he's getting the better of the opposition. He doesn't like being hurt, though, and he got a bit of attention here.
The worst thing is when the defender just takes the ball off you. He's fouling you, you know you're causing him problems.
He might have been involved in the taking of the free kick, Hazard. But it's going to be Willian. Spurs have come very close with their free kick. Threatening position so far. Willian off the wall and cleared by Rose as he was caught by Cahill. Not sure the referee saw that. His assistant may well have done, Dave Bryan, right in front of him.
Yeah, one of those wholehearted challenges, just trying to prevent the clearance. Often you just get hurt on the follow-through more than anything else.
Cahill's header back by Mason. There's no doubt, the point you were making, Alan, that Spurs have this system. This team, virtually to a man, played even last Sunday. Chelsea have made a choice today that they haven't made before. Gary Cahill's had a few minutes as a substitute in games as a makeshift midfield player.
Yeah, interesting, Pochettino stuck with that team that drew against West Ham. It didn't play particularly well.
And here's Rose, on Cahill. I can't recall Zuma playing in midfield. Maybe he has in his time in French football.
Notice that when Chelsea go forward, he shows no signs of joining in. He just sits there in front of the two centre-halves with nobody to mark quite often.
"20 minutes gone, Chelsea 0, Tottenham 0. In the battle for the first silverware of the season. Nice change of pace by Mason. Trying to slide it through for Kane. Couldn't blame him for looking for that, and you couldn't blame Chelsea for cutting off the avenue, which could have been so threatening to their goal. Rose. Bentaleb. Now Walker. It's a good play by the Algerian. He was in control, even as he was fouled.
He's developed a good understanding, Bentaleb, with Ryan Mason.
Clip trying to just turn the combination of Terry and Azpilicueta on that far side, give Andros Townsend something to chase. Well, as always, not seeking the lineup, Roman Abramovich, but seeking silverware for Jose Mourinho second time around. Daniel Levy, very much the man who makes the decisions with Tottenham. They're both well backed in the boardroom and around the ground, Chelsea and Tottenham. "16 points the difference in the Premier League. First quarter, if it's going to be finished in 90 minutes, of course. Nothing to show on the scoreline in this domestic cup final. Mason. Now Walker. Shy of covering the ground going forward. Three in and around the penalty area in Tottenham white. Breaks to Willian. That's some ball for Eden Hazard. It could lead to a real chance here for Chelsea. Hazard going it alone. Possibly the wrong option. Diego Costa was there. And others were arriving too.
He got himself a bit of space. There was the chance to let fly, just didn't catch it.
Bentaleb. Chadley. Eriksson just backing away to make a bit of space. Townsend, Eriksson again. Into Chadley. Might face Chelsea up there. All this time. Forced back by Ivanovic. Rose stepping in. Bentaleb. Not short of possession, Tottenham.
No, Chelsea happy to defend fairly deep and invite Spurs on here.
Oh, it was really fizzed across the face of goal by Kyle Walker.
It's an important area of the pitch. Can his player, Kyle Walker, push back Eden Hazard rather than the other way round? It's been a good spell. He won't be too disappointed with the way his players have settled into the occasion.
William will be disappointed with the way he settled into receiving that throw from Ivanovic. Rose. Mason. There's great concern about Liverpool earlier today because of their Europa League exertions on Thursday night. Same feeling for Spurs. Liverpool are fresh enough. The Spurs have started well here.
They've had a couple of lapses defensively, haven't they? Vertonghen and Eric Dyer last couple of games. West Ham and Fiorentina. But it's been a solid start here.
Fabregas played in the final of 2007 against Chelsea, was a loser with Arsenal that day. Terry. Hazard. Bentaleb got enough of the ball again. Anthony Taylor was very well placed. Tottenham can get out here with Rose. Blocked by Cahill. Theatrical fall by Ivanovic. We've seen one or two of those this season. He's got a free kick. Anthony Taylor was the referee at Southampton, where Jose Mourinho fell out with him. He's not the only referee, of course, the Chelsea manager has fallen out with. It was a Fabregas incident in the Southampton penalty area. It was given as a dive, a yellow card for Fabregas, and I think on the closer inspection it should have been a penalty for Chelsea. I believe the referee himself, to his credit, would apologise to Chelsea for that.
Trying to hit that diagonal one over to Eden Hazard. And it once or twice successfully.
Cahill. Ivanovic. Jose Mourinho certainly has a reputation as a manager who is economical. The first time around there were lots of 1-0, 2-0 wins. Haven't been so many this season, and plenty of wins though. The way he's lined up his team suggests that he feels that they could be accused of being a bit too open in a match of this magnitude. Maybe they'll have to be a bit more open later on, but the one thing Tottenham must be fearful of, even though they came back in the league game at White Hart Lane, is going behind here at Wembley. Another issue with Diego Costa again.
There's the arm off and Costa that Bentaleb wasn't happy about. It's just a classic tactic from the centre forward, just to try and keep your man at bay, but it did catch Bentaleb in the face.
And cut down again there. And Spurs have got to be careful not to be drawn into this. It's certainly a foul, and Costa's entitled to a free kick.
I don't think it particularly hurt Bentaleb, but he decided to make something of it. There's certainly a hand on the face. He's got to be careful.
Well, just behind the scenes, I can tell you that Chelsea are working hard on trying to make Diego Costa fit for purpose for the Premier League, and take him maybe a little bit out of his game without taking out of his game what they've signed him for, to be an aggressive, powerful striker. Here's William with the free kick, and Lloris concerned it might be knocked back from beyond the far post. Still with Chelsea and Hazard. Terry into space, but it's filled by Danny Rose, who clears as comfortably as you can in those circumstances. It is an issue for Diego Costa.
Well, I think
he's a firebrand.
You've got to be careful getting excited in these one-to-one duels with him, because he doesn't. He's a cold-blooded assassin. He can get involved in these spats, but he still concentrates on his own game, and that's not always easy for his opponent. Spurs don't want to get sucked in. It's his natural game. He's trying to rile his man. Can't put him off.
And he upset Bentaleb, then Walker. And Eric Dyer right at the start, so he's working his way through Tottenham. There's Mason trying to pass his way through Chelsea, maybe. 1-4 Walker, held up by Terry. And Chelsea get a free kick. Last time, of course, they met here at Wembley. It was an FA Cup semi-final. There was a controversial moment in it. A phantom goal was given for Chelsea, and Juan Mata part of a 5-1 over Tottenham. Walker played that day. He was looking to jump there, but was taken under the ball by Diego Costa. Half an hour gone.
See how deep Chelsea sink automatically. Happy to concede this kind of space to Spurs.
Chadley. A good angle for the cross. Mason can't quite reach it. Dyer gets a yellow card. Diego Costa, of course, involved again.
Dived in and the ball kept going, so he can't have too many complaints. Costa does well just to shift across. He knows the challenge is coming.
Interesting, Diego Costa scored 17 Premier League goals. He's played 9 times in other competitions for Chelsea without scoring. And he hasn't quite hit the ground running after his suspension. And of course, that incident in the second leg of the semi-final of this competition. Suspected ban. What games they were against Liverpool too. Titanic tussles at Anfield and at Stamford Bridge. Chadley. It's always been a terrific competition, this League Cup. They've averaged almost 3 goals a game. Lots of upsets. MK Dons against Manchester United, remember that? Bentaleb. Ericsson not quite getting the range that time.
Well, you can see Chelsea's methods, their tactics. They want to keep this nice and tight, but of course they have got the potential to change the system, change the attacking threat. He's one of them.
Didier Drogba, 8 goals in 10 games at Wembley, 9 goals in 9 cup finals for Chelsea. Astonishing statistics.
It sets the bar for Costa, doesn't it? An ability to produce on the big stage.
Nicely found Bentaleb to Ericsson. Came to his right. And that, again, is what Zuma's been charged with doing today. What he can't do is mark Ericsson at free kicks around the box, and that's the closest we've had to an opening goal here. And the free kick that rattled the Chelsea bar. Ericsson again. Bentaleb. Driving on. Bit of power, bit of skill as well. He's just moved ahead of him. He hesitated. Bentaleb in the end, and he was lost, or possession was lost. Hazard. Dispossessed cleanly by Ericsson. Tottenham got 4 forward after that turnover of possession. Townsend. Ericsson again. Quite lay it right for Kyle Walker, but he did enough to win Tottenham a corner.
I just wonder whether Jose Mourinho will think about changing this, because it's not really working, and it is putting that Chelsea back four under a lot of pressure.
Variation on the corner, mindful of Chelsea's height, but this is one of the things that drives coaches mad when you have a corner and suddenly you're having to defend because you don't take it properly. The counter-attack didn't get as far as it threatened to do for Chelsea.
Yeah, Mourinho on the far side, he's so annoyed about that. It was a great chance on the counter.
And here goes Townsend. Nicely done by Dyer. Just went into that little bit, Walker, given his handball. Eriksson flipping it wide to Danny Rose. Chadley with him. Kane waiting in the middle. Tottenham pressing Chelsea back here. Eriksson, Chadley, Rose just keeps it in. Now Eriksson. Tottenham probing, and Eriksson getting a shot in.
Yeah, another good little spell for Spurs. That's where you want to get Kurt Zuma, face him up, squaring up in the box.
Scoring first in the League Cup final, doesn't seem to have too much in the way of advantages. In the last 9 finals where there have been goals, there was a 0-0 Tottenham were involved in that went to penalties against Manchester United, remember. But of those 9 finals, in 6 of them, the side that scored first has lost, including, of course, last year, and a former Chelsea player. Fabio Borini gave Sunderland the lead against Manchester City. Zuma. Ramirez. No foul on him. Just the sheer strength from Chadley. Trying to play Harry Kane through. Both those Spurs players shouting for handball. Again, Anthony Taylor right on the spot. Didn't see it as that.
No, used all his experience, John Terry, there to get into that little gap where Chadley wanted to put the ball.
Willian. Ramirez is quite happy out on the right-hand side, of course. Now goes infield. Diego Costa part in setting up maybe a chance here. Willian. Right on the scene is Azpilicueta. And then Hazard. Azpilicueta again. Hazard. They've done well in closing Chelsea down. Brought out at pace by Andros Townsend. Chadley. Would it be fair to say, Alan, that Tottenham are nearer their natural game than Chelsea are?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've seen that in this opening half. His team are well drilled. They've played the same system virtually all season. Jose Mourinho deciding to go with something slightly different, and it's taken away some of their attacking threat.
Walker doing well against Hazard. Eriksson. Mason. Mason again. Good football in there. On from Vertonghen to Rose. Willian barring the way forward. Nothing in this almost 40 minutes to discourage Tottenham. Bentele. Walker. Back behind the ball for Chelsea. Dyer, who was pulled out of an under-21 squad in November to say he wanted to go back to Spurs and try and get in the side as a centre-back. Been playing previously as a right-back. And it's worked out for him as well. He's in the team in that position. Here's Mason.
Very unlike Chelsea.
Them a lot better than that.
Very unlike Chelsea, that Spurs were able to manoeuvre the ball into that position without anybody getting a foot in, anybody getting close. Be a blow if Walker's going to have to come off. He's defended pretty well and been a threat up that right-hand side.
He's had a run of games recently after a long time out with injury. It cost him a place in the World Cup squad, of course. Dyer might find himself at right back. And he just said how happy he is to be playing in the middle. Fazio and Vertonghen were the two centre-backs in Florence on Thursday, but neither distinguished themselves on the two goals that sent Spurs crashing out of Europe. Of course, if they win here, 3 days out after going out of Europe, they'll be back in it again for next season. Scott trying to sort the problem out. Ryan Mason certainly benefited from Pochettino's management. He's turned himself a new 5.5-year contract.
He's a clever footballer, Ryan Mason.
But not one appreciated by all the previous Tottenham managers.
He's had a run in the side, hasn't he? And he's been able to shake off that injury-prone reputation. He's gained strength through first team action.
He's out on loan a lot of time. And Tim Sherwood would have played him, I'm sure, but he was already out on loan or unfit. It's Walker who's unfit here, and that doesn't look too good. Kyle Walker gamely has come back on. The longer he stays on, could be the longer he's going to be out because of the injury. We'll see. A real wince after drilling it long up towards Kane. Chelsea, by and large, have kept at arm's length. Mason. Chadley. Kane almost luring John Terry in and knowing they've got the strength to hold him off. Walker, Kane. Stopped by the Chelsea skipper that time.
This is where
Here's Willian.
I want to see his team use the ball better. They've given it away far too many times. They've done so again. Willian not enjoyed the best of first halves here.
Very good covering by Mason, because Rose had committed himself. A couple of minutes past stoppage time to go to half-time, when Walker, I guess, will be reassessed. His long throw dealt with by Tottenham. And that is definitely a foul by Chadley. Ivanovic, the deftest of touches, was going to try and take it on beyond Chadley here, and he knew it.
Yeah, should have done better than that, Chadley, defensively. The ball was in the air an awfully long time. He had the chance to get goal side.
Again, as from the long throw, there is a risk that Tottenham might be exposed here with Walker Perhaps not being able to be as quick off the mark as he might need to be. Defending's only the free kick, which Willian takes. And it comes out to John Terry. Mr. Chelsea puts Chelsea in front.
It's a classic smashing grab, isn't it, from Chelsea? It gets a nick at the near post, and that's what makes life difficult for Spurs there. And again, he gets a deflection off Vertonghen, is it? The Chelsea captain is on hand to apply the all-important touch here. It's just come off Eric Dyer, making life really awkward for Loris. He's got no chance with that.
There hasn't been a pretty first half from Chelsea's point of view, but it's a pretty useful scoreline for Jose Mourinho, seeking out his first trophy of his second spell in charge at the club. And a man from the first spell has been responsible for the lead.
It was a free kick they did not need to concede. Chadley on this near side should have done much better in dealing with that high ball towards Ivanovic.
And yet again, as they've done in every round, Chelsea have taken the lead in the Capital One Cup right into the final itself. Well, the injury to Walker, the insult to Tottenham of the goal. A little shake of the head from Mauricio Pochettino. To do what they did on New Year's Day, coming from a goal down. It's so often the way that Chelsea break through. The strength at set pieces. A chance to cover the advantage on a similar route. But for Loris, they would have done.
Ivanovic has threatened a couple of times on the far post. Just peeling off. Bentaleb does so again.
Gary Cahill, you could see what they've got, these Chelsea men from the back. They've got the movement of attackers. They don't just stand there and expect their height and strength to win them a header. Dyer to be careful, and Diego Costa's got a case, I think. It is half-time. Alan, just before we wrap up the first half, the last action of it.
Yeah, Ramirez just having a word with the ref now about this challenge. Certainly Costa gets his toe there first.
And Eric Dyer already booked.
Looking through a few players, Anthony Taylor keeps his whistle away.
One of the things that Jose Mourinho might go on about in representing Diego Costa's case. But it's John Terry who's given Chelsea the lead here, very close to half-time. Tottenham have played reasonably well in the first half. They've got some sorting out to do in the second. At the break at Wembley in the Capital One Cup final, Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. One encouraging statistic for Tottenham supporters: 10 of Spurs' 12 goals in the League Cup this season have been scored in the second half of matches. They conceded very late in the first half.
They do like a 2-1 as well, don't they?
Yes. Dyer. Well, he's certainly a good South Yorkshire grit, a lad from Sheffield. Used to soldier on. He's had too much time on the treatment table in recent seasons. Fabregas. We haven't mentioned too much so far. He's such an outstanding player for Chelsea this season. Mason.
Spurs midfield, they've had the upper hand. They played well, but need to try and test Petr Cech in a way that they couldn't in that first half.
Hard and low by Danny Rose. Playing by Petr Cech. The isolated figure at the moment, Diego Costa. Chadley. Blocked off by Ivanovic. Remember, those were the two involved in the free kick that led to John Terry giving Chelsea. They won an eventful time he has in League Cup finals. He was man of the match in 2005. He ended up in hospital after the 2007 game, or during it actually. And now he's the goal scorer here in 2015. Taking the fight to Chelsea. That's what Tottenham have to do, but they have to do it judiciously. He's having to track back. By Azpilicueta. Knocked down by Diego Costa. Away from Fabregas.
He has been quite a remote figure in terms of his other teammates. Most of this match so far, he has to hold it up.
And he doesn't mind taking on 3s and 4s, does he? A number of teams have equalised against Chelsea in this League Cup run. Bolton, Shrewsbury, and of course Liverpool and Anfield. All eventually knocked out. Here's Hazard. But Chelsea to a 2-0 lead. Probably nearest to going in of Eric Dyer rather than any Chelsea player.
It's a nightmare scenario for any defender up against Eden Hazard in this kind of situation. Zuma's a target for these long throws normally. I fancy him against Ryan Mason.
He would. He could have got that. Oh, fantastic effort. We'll mention Fabregas now. Well kept out by Hugo Lloris, but at full stretch.
Real agility here. Was it creeping in that corner? Oh, it would have been.
Vertonghen. Kane. Attack on Chelsea again here. Bentele. Surely would have been outside if the ball had got straight away to Chadley.
No, he went far too early. He would have known himself. At that point, you just got to leave the ball. You know the flag's going to go up.
Well, they will back themselves, Tottenham. They've come from behind to win 8 league and cup matches this season. Pochettino's built up their fitness. A manager of mischief. I think we'll see that shot over and over again. It's only water at the moment. The champagne is still some 40 minutes away, possibly.
Well, his team talk might have changed noticeably, mightn't it, after that John Terry goal?
Walker, they've got Ryan Mason limping as well as Kyle Walker. He came off very early in the 5-3 on New Year's Day. Eriksen, Dyer. Again, you're looking at what Jose Mourinho's done to players in terms of improving their all-round game. Hazard wasn't the most gifted defensively a year or so ago. Harry Kane was hardly known a year or so ago. Clipped out by Terry. Diego Costa trying to capitalise on any hint of confusion between Dyer and Vertonghen. Ramirez fouling Bentaleb. Rose. Ericsson. Now Walker. Townsend. Well, Chelsea have won only 3 of their last 8 games in all competitions. Probably don't know so much about that because you don't ask the players. Everybody just speaks to Jose Mourinho, keeps the pressure off his players. No one's gone to the Chelsea lads and said, what's going, you've dropped your standards a bit, what's going on? The manager takes all the heat.
But his team are in familiar territory here in terms of defending the lead. Everybody knows their individual jobs. I think for Spurs it's vital that they use the wide areas, try and get a 2v1 up against the full-backs, but not easy when the likes of Hazard and Willian are funneling back so diligently.
Certainly likely to be noisier in the second half, with both teams attacking the ends where their fans are gathered. The east end of the stadium for Tottenham. As you'd expect, the west end for Chelsea. Mason, Rose. And Mason trying to join in further forward again. But, the problem when that happens, it does need Bentaleb to just put out the fire. Sparky counter-attack, which is looming for Chelsea. Be enough to give this new Chelsea team 1 or 2 components from the old days. Their first win in the rebuilding process, a project that enticed Jose Mourinho back to a club that he loves, to a country that he loves, where he says he's going to stay even if Chelsea have enough of him in the years to come. Chadley.
And this is where Chelsea are defending really well, denying Spurs one-on-one situations, the ability to get around the back, whipping crosses.
And that was great work by Willian. And fouled by Danny Rose, and can kick long. Terry. A bit of a slice, even for Eden Hazard. You can probably shovel a lot at him and say, get hold of that, and he will, but couldn't manage that one.
No, but he did the job. They get themselves a throw-in, up the pitch.
Azpilicueta's throw, Hazard involved. Hazard. Zuma. The weather's certainly changed. Very sunny for most of the day, but rain falling heavily now. Looking at the surface. Fabregas. Hazard. Now the willing Willian. Fabregas, giving a growing influence in the game. Diego Costa, tight angle, deflected! Touch of fortune that Chelsea need. The danger that is Diego Costa. And the player who gave him the ball goal, Cesc Fabregas. That's been Chelsea's combo this season, and it may well have clinched the Capital One Cup.
Well, the very good striker's come alive in the penalty area, and that's what he does here, Diego Costa. Yes, he gets a big slice of luck with a deflection off Kyle Walker, who's really unlucky, but only one thing in his mind, to shift it across and get a shot away. And if they ask the question often enough, you will get instances like this when it goes in your favour. That's a big, big goal for Chelsea, and a really painful one for Spurs.
Well, not exactly smiling in the rain, but he's got plenty to smile about. I think if the Premier League were ruling on it, it would go down as a Kyle Walker own goal, but I'm not sure the same discipline applies in the Capital One Cup. Diego Costa will want to have it alongside his name. But it's 2-0 for Chelsea. That's what is the significance of it all. Rose. Kane.
Back 2-0 down. Pochettino will be having a glance behind him, having a look at his options on that bench. How can he change things now?
All on the shirt. Harry Kane, free kick taken quickly by Spurs and ineffectually by Spurs. We'll have to dig very deep here.
Well, Soldado is the obvious one. If you're looking for another striker, Eric Lamela. Soldado himself's not exactly been in sparkling form. No easy answer here.
Wide by Bentaleb. Soldado hasn't been brimming with confidence recently. Scored a great goal at home to Fiorentina and then messed up a chance which could have kept Tottenham in Europe on Thursday. Breakaway.
That goal against Fiorentina in the first leg would have set him up a little bit, give him some confidence, but it didn't appear to do so.
Mason. Mason. Chadley. It's better from Tottenham in the second half, and they haven't really got going as they did in the first. Bentaleb has got a good long-range shot on him, but sometimes you need a deflection, and he got one here.
I was talking earlier about Diego Costa following on from Didier Drogba in notching at Wembley on the big stage, and he'll claim that goal without question. Yes, it was going wide, but he'll claim that, don't you worry about that.
If it is his, then it will be his first for Chelsea outside the Premier League. No better place to get it than at Wembley Stadium at a crucial time in a domestic cup final. Ivanovic will be the messenger here. Here's Dembele. It's going to be the first Spurs change. Possibly for Andros Townsend. An hour gone. First 40 minutes of it, really, to Pochettino's players, but they didn't make it count in terms of an imprint on the scoreline. And since then, either side of half-time, Chelsea have got a grip.
It's a difficult one for Pochettino, isn't it? You're loath to change your shape, go 4-4-2 and really give Chelsea extra numbers in the middle of the park. It looks like he's going to keep the same shape. But,
Townsend indeed. It's the player taken off. But it's not Lamela, it's Dembele.
push Ericsson onto this right-hand side, Dembele through the middle.
Kane. Suma gets it away. Away by Cahill. Tottenham just have to get the next goal if there is going to be one. Hazard. Aspilicueta sprinting up outside him. Actually wasn't quite ready when the pass was released. He thought Hazard, and perhaps we did up here too, was going to go on and try a shot.
Yeah. Good news for Spurs. Kyle Walker looks okay. I won't be feeling too good about the second goal, but couldn't do much about it.
Simple throw-in routine.
They've been slow on that, Spurs, all afternoon.
Costa
Just slow to pick up on the restart from those throw-ins.
He has heroic qualities, Diego Costa. He plays with his heart and sometimes with his head. Certainly in the sense that he can use his head from set pieces.
I think he always knows what he's doing, put it that way.
Back to Willian. Unable to get out quickly enough to deal with the first phase of that Chelsea idea. Willian, Hazard, Spurs are on the rack here. Very nearly out of contention totally. Yeah, a whisker away from the brilliant Belgian.
Another nightmare side to face in this situation now, Chelsea. So expert at picking you off. He just didn't quite get the curl on it.
Well, the rain teeming down. Spurs need their hurricane. Walker. Bentaleb. Mason. Ericsson trying to flick it on. One thing that Pochettino hasn't done yet, Alan, is drop Kane a little bit deeper and get Soldado on. And Kane, of course, can be effective. A great compliment paid of him, but he's got the scoring skill of a Shearer and the subtlety of a Sheringham.
Well, in the 10-15 minutes,
got to show both, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Pochettino will have to really throw the dice, take a gamble.
Willian. Tough fixture list that Spurs have been playing their way through may well count against them now. Fabregas. Willian found by Hazard. He wanted to go to Ivanovic. It was blocked off. Reward for persistence. Never stops grafting. He's got a free kick in another position. Are they going to send all the big men up? They don't have to now, really.
Beginning to look like hard work for Spurs. Chelsea can do that to you.
We've seen it before. Another variation on a theme. Hazard. Wow. It was Fabregas coming round the back. The actual touch from Danny Rose made the header very difficult.
Yep, the way things are shaping up, that third goal doesn't look too far away. Time to pick the pass on the full stretch, Danny Rose.
Ericsson.
Hard going for Harry Kane, hasn't it? Up against two quality centre-halves who wouldn't have forgotten New Year's Day when he gave him a bit of a run around.
Walker. Rather forlorn Ericsson. Not going to throw in the towel yet. Azpilicueta, offside against Hazard. Well, the curse of scoring first doesn't seem to apply to Chelsea.
Well, you always thought, from Tottenham's point of view, they needed to get the first goal in this match. Still time for them.
Well, they have this motto, to dare is to do. They certainly have to dare if they're going to do it now. Mason. Here's Rose, looking for Kane. Not quite where the knockdown came. There's a pragmatic nature to Jose Mourinho's side. And they're usually very strong in this situation. Ericsson trying to give the lie to that. Here's Dembele. Fitted Ericsson. Chelsea making a bit of a meal of getting it away, but now they have got it away. They've got three, and others joining in this counter-attack. Hazard. Into Ramirez. Scored a couple of goals here. And pick up semi-final and final. Bentaleb showing great poise in the circumstances.
It's going to be the shape of this game now. Spurs did commit a lot of men forward. It's going to open up inevitably.
Card is in Anthony Taylor's hand for Willian, who knew it was coming and didn't do anything but accept it.
No, it's going to be a final 20 minutes for those kind of little niggly tactical fouls from Chelsea's point of view.
Pragmatic, as I said. Ryan Mason, who rarely finishes games, he starts. Gives way to Eric Lamela. 20 minutes to go, unless Tottenham can score twice.
They're changing the shape again. Ericsson going more centrally, although he's drifted out here. Lamela on the right. Dembele dropping back a little bit.
Lamela, one or two Tottenham players who were brought in on the Gareth Bale money, still has a bit to prove. Hazard. Here is Diego Costa. Ramirez and Willian have got forward with great energy again. Here's Willian. Zuma. And life is a lot easier in that unfamiliar position for him when the game is as open as it is now. Here, again breaking up the play, but still quite a long time to go.
Yeah, Harry Kane needs that, one of his opponents to get booked, just to make life a little bit harder. They've got to tread a bit more carefully.
2-1 in an FA Cup final between these two, 2-1 in a League Cup final between these two, both to Tottenham. Ability and a slippery surface here. A soaked ball for Petr Cech. Eriksson feel that he's got a chance of making it 2-1 here, and setting up a real finale.
Just wiping away the line there, the Chelsea wall.
Eriksson tries to set it up. The flag's gone up. Bit of a bluff from the Dane. For Eric Dyer. Good decision.
Yeah, an easy one. Got himself onto Azpilicueta. He didn't really need to make that early movement. He'd have fancied him all day long. Well, you're going to have to get that sorted.
Thought for a moment is he'd lost his legs a little bit, but more the concern about the blood and the doc required.
He didn't really get a chance to get off the deck, and that's why Dyer's knee was so high on him.
Chelsea down to 10. Can Tottenham take advantage? Zuma. Hit Dyer and stuck, and here's Vertonghen. Rose. Bentaleb. Lamella calling for it out here. Zuma's just slotted in at left back for the moment. Chadley. Over Harry Kane. Lamella was coming in from out on the right-hand side. And Danny Rose, quick thinking at the free kick as he caught Chelsea out here. Chadley tries again. Still trying to get Azpilicueta back on.
Well, I can understand them trying to take a quick free kick, but in hindsight, maybe Christian Eriksen would have fancied a little pop from there, just outside the box.
It's a League Cup debut for Cuadrado, for Willian. Cuadrado, a big deal in the January transfer window. Colombian. To get Azpilicueta back on before the corner's taken. I think they've just done that. Tottenham corner. Oh. skipped away from Lamela.
Well, how close was Harry Kane to getting a head on it? He was under severe pressure here from Ivanovic. There's a shirt tug. Well, he's taken a huge risk there, Ivanovic.
Lamela. Those shirt pulls do look far more obvious in slow motion, I must say, and for the referee in real time. Eriksson. Zuma, who's grown into the role. But it helps a lot when your team are 2-0 up. Very popular amongst his Chelsea teammates. The lad whose second given name is Happy, Kurt Happy Zuma. He'll be pretty happy. The final whistle goes with the scoreline the same as it is now. Eriksson. No reason for Spurs to be cheerful as yet. Quadrado. Diego Costa wants it played over the top. Quadrado trying to make sure, I think, his side take possession, and Bentaleb gets booked for the foul.
Yeah, they'll make the most of these situations. Drawing the foul and now taking the time. Trying to take the sting out of the occasion, out of any Tottenham fight back.
Azpilicueta. It's usually John Terry who has the patent on the bandages and the war-wounded look for Chelsea, isn't it? It's Azpilicueta today. Kept in by Kane. Holds off Fabregas. Looks for Eriksson. Oh, and Chadley coming in at the back post. And it's a semblance of a chance.
Well, you've just got to imagine that Ivanovic is going to miss it. Just take a chance, just get your body sorted for the first time shot. Don't assume he's going to clear it. Harry Kane's done well on the circumstances out here tonight. And he's miles away from it.
Headed on by Quadrado. Remember, Manchester City lost at Anfield to give Chelsea a great start to their day. As far as their Premier League title hopes are concerned, and now they lead 2-0 here. It'll be a perfect day.
Oh, Lamela and Costa coming together, and he certainly raised the elbow on Costa there, Lamela. Happened very quickly.
Roberto Soldado comes on. That swing and a miss was the last contribution for Nacer Chadli. Now we have got Kane in that slightly deeper position. Lamela. Fabregas. To put Costa away, not quite. Hazard. Taking on Vertonghen. Hazard, wonderfully done. And again, Vertonghen, fellow countryman, of course, of the Chelsea number 10. Knew he couldn't make any sort of challenge in that position without the risk of giving away a penalty. Bentaleb. Actually, Kane has stayed right up top. And here's Eriksson trying to keep it in. Cahill was the boss.
Now they've got all their attacking players on the pitch. Those two lads in the middle of the park, Bentaleb and Dembele, they've got to work really hard.
A new era. Jose Mourinho actually said, Alan, in the build-up, that this team, if they can get the winning habit in terms of trophies, they will play better football than the team of his first time in charge of Chelsea. And this will be a great step in the growth of this group. Aspilicueta, fortunate that Eriksen's free kick wasn't a few millimetres lower in the first half at 0-0. Probably fortunate that the Europa League had a round of fixtures in the build-up to this final, whereas the Champions League, as far as Chelsea was concerned, didn't. Soldado, Kane trying to cut it back, blocked by Aspilicueta. In by Kane, out by Aspilicueta, not very far, Zuma.
Now keep going, Spurs. They're a fit team, as they've shown this season with those late goals.
That was a real break on. That's the wrong ball in the sense of being behind Ramirez from Diego Costa.
It was nearly the right ball though, back to Costa.
Yeah, if it had been in front of Ramirez, he's certainly a player capable in the 82nd minute of a Wembley occasion of running away from the opposition. Kane with the throw. Bentaleb still driving Tottenham forward. Scraped away from danger for the moment by Terry. Nice and narrow back four for Jose Mourinho. And others filling in the wider areas to stop the likes of Kane in a crossing position. Kane's penalised here.
And the linesman seeing a little shove from Harry Kane. Just there with the left arm. Try not to handball it there, that's Aspilicueta.
Early last Sunday, Alan, Spurs were looking at these three games: West Ham at home in the Premier League, Fiorentina away in the Europa League, and Chelsea at Wembley in the Capital One Cup final, thinking, well, if we got 3 wins, we would be establishing ourselves as if you like, a step further ahead than in previous seasons. But they were fortunate to get a draw at home to West Ham. I couldn't see a way to victory in Florence, and that 2-0 scoreline against them is being replicated here at Wembley.
Yeah. No, it's
more work to be done in the boardroom.
Well, Pochettino will be hoping so, that he can turn this team into something he would regard as truly his own. Inherited a lot of players.
Ball play by Dyer. Aspilicueta gets another free kick. Six minutes plus stoppage time to go. The wet weather just adding to their glum mood. Dembele. Tottenham's throw. Dembele. Bentaleb for Tongan. That was a robust challenge from Cuadrado.
Yeah, he didn't need to make it, just one of those, maybe the occasion getting the better of him, a bit overexcited there. Double whammy, foul as well as a handball. Don't want to be offering any invitations here.
There's still life in the game, and certainly if Tottenham can make something from this free kick, Chelsea would have a nervy finish. Hazard. Bentaleb. Vertonghen. Rose. Scraped away by Ivanovic this time. Walker, who's done very well to keep going. That injury in the first half. Here's Lamela. Walker infield of him. Back to Lamela. Eriksson. Away by Aspilicueta. Little nudge infield by Diego Costa. Fabregas hasn't quite got the pace to get there. Dembele with the fresher legs did so for Spurs. We're giving it everything in these closing minutes. Soldado. That looked as though it really was going to open up for Harry Kane, and he went infield onto his right foot.
He hasn't had too many of these moments, has he? But
brilliant from
John Terry at his finest at this late stage.
Tottenham's corner. All those players in there. Cut a path through the lot of them.
I can't believe it. He's put the ball on the spot. It's not as if Spurs have played poorly out here. Played some really nice football at times, but they've come up against a very good Chelsea team that's extremely streetwise, knows how to manage any given situation.
Well, Cesc Fabregas applauded off by everyone connected with Chelsea. Certainly hardly in the picture in the first half. But, played the ball into Diego Costa that led to the second goal. And Oscar gets a taste of the big occasion on the ground where he lost a final. The final of the Olympic football tournament for Brazil against Mexico in 2012. Lamela. Soldado, it's a terrific ball. And again, when Chelsea needed a defender to react, they got Ivanovic to slide it behind for a corner, which Spurs understandably are in a rush to take. Ivanovic is there again. Here's Soldado to squeeze it in. And the second attempt blocked by Aspilicueta.
They're just so stubborn, aren't they, Chelsea, defensively? They will not let go.
Soldado. On a wet evening at Wembley, Chelsea are soaking it up. And they'll soon be soaking up the joy of their fans. A minute plus stoppage time.
Well, it could be the first trophy of a spectacular season for Mourinho's men. Great chance of lifting the title. Champions League, very much alive. Who knows?
Hit long by Dyer. Kane can't get there. Flicked by Ramirez. Chelsea are having problems getting hold of the ball in these closing minutes as Spurs push more and more players forward at them. Dembele, Lamela, Ramirez. Cuadrado trying to pick out Diego Costa.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 4 minutes time.
4 added minutes confirmed. Square ball come out by Walker. Here's Lamela. Soldado and Kane ahead of him. And just gone into trouble. And then Aspilicueta the same. Zuma fighting to the last. Here goes Kane. It's another Spurs corner. Chelsea in problems rather of their own making then. Quick thinking at the corner, taken by Eriksson. Sentimental substitution, Alan?
Well, there might be an element to that, and why not?
A cult hero from so many cup successes. A true Wembley wizard. Headed out by Dyer. Drogba has to wait. Delgado losing out. Spurs have contributed hugely to this final, but the moments either side of half-time are crucial for Chelsea.
Well, they'll have to pick themselves up, won't they, and go again in search of a Champions League place. Won't be easy with the competition they've got.
Diego Costa has hustled and bustled his way to his first Chelsea Cup final and gets rapturous appreciation. And he always knows what he's doing. He was right out here beneath us, furthest away from the point of substitution, so that can help run down the clock as much as possible.
Taking him a few games after that suspension, but back to something like we know he can be, Costa.
So, though be it for just a few moments, Didier Drogba is in the League Cup final again for Chelsea, having scored in his 3 previous ones, 2 winners' medals and a loser against Spurs, of course. That 2008 scenario not repeated here today. Hazard. Dembele to Lamela. Eriksen. Still trying to find an opening. Walker to take on Azpilicueta. Another corner. Only be academic now if Spurs were to score in the last minute of added time. Tottenham get a lot of late goals. They haven't got one here, at least from that corner. Rose. Another defensive block, and it's goal kick, and it's game over. For the winning manager, it's the magic of the final whistle, which is only seconds away. Shared with the staff, Rui Faria. Maybe one last kick of the ball for Chelsea. History has repeated itself for Jose Mourinho. His first trophy in his second spell at Chelsea is the League Cup, just as it was first time around 10 years ago. His captain then, the same as now, and a goal scorer today, John Terry. Just before half-time, it took it away from Tottenham in truth. And then Diego Costa with the deflected shot in the second half. Yet another Wembley success for Chelsea. Alan Smith.
Well, for Jose Mourinho, he set up his team with a particular purpose to try and shut this Tottenham team down. And they did that, didn't they? And you could argue it worked perfectly to plan, getting that goal just before half-time. And then the second to kill it. It was another tactical victory for the manager, in charge of some extremely talented players.
Well, disappointment for Tottenham. They couldn't replicate their success over Chelsea here at Wembley in this competition in 2008. Harry Kane kept under wraps today. Mourinho came back to Chelsea to build a new team, the likes of Kurt Zouma, will be part of that, and the first piece of silverware for this team is a significant moment, just as it was for his first Chelsea side 10 years ago when Drogba was the man. He's happy to be just part of the supporting cast here, but it's still that winning feeling.
It's been a pretty good day, hasn't it? After that Manchester City defeat at Anfield, all going their way.
The perfect day for Chelsea. Roman Abramovich, who changed the whole concept of the club. Well, that's a call to his family. He said he was going to go home and have dinner with them after the game and turn his thoughts to playing West Ham on Wednesday. They'll be in tomorrow, these Chelsea players. They've got a Premier League title to try and secure as well, and this can only help, Alan.
No, it's a wonderful start to what, as I said, could be a spectacular season. Got so much talent to choose from.
Let's hear from the Chelsea skipper. John Terry's with Guy Havold.
John, you said you have to start winning trophies. You've done it now. How important is that for the development of this young team?
That's the first one. It's massive. It meant an awful lot to us, you know, in 2004-05 in Jose's first year here. That could be the start of something very good, but now we have to kick on and we've got leagues to focus on. But a great day and a great win today.
Yeah, great celebrations there. Was it like a release of pressure?
Yeah, I think so. The pressure was there before the game, obviously, but that's what cup finals do to you. I thought we played very well, handled the game very well, and delighted with the win, obviously.
A little surprised to be 1-0 up at half-time?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it was fairly even first half. Second half, I thought we controlled it a little bit better, but, you know, deserved winners.
Happy for Diego Costa to be involved in that second goal?
Yeah, delighted for him. He's in great goal-scoring form, and it's great to see him do it on the big stage as well.
And a quick word on the manager. How important has he been in sort of developing this team?
Very important since he came in, especially this competition. He made it very clear from the outset, like I said before, we was out to win this competition and we've done it, and, you know, credit to the manager and the squad.
Well done.
Thank you, cheers.
John Terry's 63rd goal for Chelsea. Extraordinary tally for a defender. His 526th game as Chelsea's captain. His 657th game for the club. So Jose Mourinho has rejoined the celebrations. And the winning touch. Nothing last season. Nothing the season before with Real Madrid. The belief, I think it's fair to say, Alan, never wavered.
Looked at him in that pre-match interview and he had that look on his face, didn't he? That serious expression that meant this is business. This is when I come alive, and my players do.
Well, sympathies to Tottenham, who would have thought maybe if there was going to be a goal in the first half, they would be the team to get it. Christian Eriksen so close to getting it with the free kick.
They gave it everything, didn't they, Martin? And they're a team of substance these days. It's been a tough week for them, and they'll be feeling pretty sorry for themselves, but they gave it a go. They didn't freeze on the big stage.
Well, those Tottenham supporters already heading for the transport home as their players are heading for their losers' memento. It's an unfortunate record for Hugo Lloris. 3 games in this competition and 3 defeats. Referred to Michel Vorm today, who had played in all the other rounds, the usual second-string goalkeeper. But for Spurs, Chelsea have been such difficult opponents. The last 60 meetings now, only 6 Tottenham wins. These mementos will mean very little to losing players.
I think for John Terry, Martin, it begins to taste sweeter, doesn't it? 34 years of age. He's won so much in his career, but you see the finishing line, you appreciate it all the more. I mean, the finishing line in his career.
Saw the finishing chance today as the ball dropped to him just before half-time. He knows the ropes here better than most for winning Wembley captains. Because he held up the League Cup in Cardiff 10 years ago. But he didn't do it 2 years later, also in Cardiff, because he'd been carted off to hospital. Lampard did the honours then. Thibaut Courtois, who had to sit it out. They do share their triumphs here. John himself knows that. And when he's been missing from finals, suspended, of course, when they won the Champions League, still very involved in the formalities at the end. So their 5th triumph in this competition. They can add 2015 to 50 years ago, 1965, 1998 at the old Wembley, the 2 at Cardiff that I've mentioned. Only Liverpool have lifted the League Cup on more occasions. They go level with Aston Villa on the Roll of Honour. For Mourinho, a 3rd victory. Only Brian Clough and Alex Ferguson with 4 apiece are ahead of him. Well, he has backed the winning formula. Make no mistake about that. Everything that has happened really for Chelsea, the modern Chelsea, he has funded. Roman Abramovich. He's picked the right man again. He became, of course, the wrong man for a while, and they parted company after such success from 04 to 07. But he says he's here for the long haul this time.
Has been awarded to Chelsea captain John Terry.
Man of the match as well for John Terry for the 2nd time in his career. 10 years apart, he writes his own scripts. Didier Drogba enjoying it just as much as he was when, of course, he was the goal-scoring hero those years ago. The intoxicating experience of winning big games, being successful when there's silverware around.
Well, they're setting the bar, aren't they, Chelsea, in the Premier League and in the Cups, in terms of English teams. They're setting the bar. It's up to the rest to try and match them, to try and overtake them.
Special congratulations for Kurt Zouma. Had a special job to do for the special one. Steve Holland, Rui Faria, Christophe Lolachon, the goalkeeping coach, Silvinho. It's a collective, and now it's about to be a collect. And Nemanja Matic has sneaked in as well, suspended from the final today. But here we go. The Capital One Cup has a home in the capital at Chelsea. A win today, but they believe it heralds another period of success. He's got the players, Alan, that he wanted in, like Diego Costa, like Fabregas. He said he wouldn't win anything last season. The young horse, well, they're showing signs of being thoroughbreds again.
Yeah, the pieces would appear to be in place, and those players follow their manager's orders to the letter. That's what makes them such a strong, such a formidable football team.
Yeah, the youngsters involved as well. Izzy Brown, the young striker, passing it along. Eventually it'll reach the manager who matters today and many a day for Chelsea Football Club.
Jose, many congratulations. Your first trophy for the new Chelsea. How proud are you about that?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I think I should start by Tottenham and by Mauricio, because they are a fantastic team. He's building a great team. They gave us a very difficult match, and I feel sorry for them because they are a good team, and he's doing a fantastic work. He's having a great evolution in his career, and I feel sorry for him, but I know that he's a proud man with the work he did and with the team he brought to this final. My players, strategically, they were fantastic. You know, I have a certain concept about the finals, and obviously we cannot win every final, but finals are not to play, are to win. And we built a team that many people was not expecting for, but we had a team with a great balance, very compact in midfield. We pressed them really well. We didn't have problems. They had a couple of chances, one in a free kick, another one. Nothing else. We controlled the game really well. We knew that we were going to be dangerous in counter-attack. I was expecting more in my team in counter-attack, but I think we played like we should play a final.
Congratulations. Cesc, you've lost to Chelsea in the final of this competition. Now you've won it with them. How does that feel?
It feels good. It feels good. A trophy is a trophy. You want to celebrate, you want to win finals, and I think it was a big performance from us today.
How important was the contribution of the man alongside you, Diego Costa?
You know, I think I have the feeling that's why Mourinho loves him. That's why Roman made the effort to bring him to Chelsea. And for games like this, you know, you want your best players to perform, and he did it very well.
Diego, how much did you enjoy this moment?
He disfrutado mucho este momento.
Sí, bueno, la primera vez que gano un título con Chelsea, ojalá que sea la primera de muchas.
He hopes it's the first of many, and it's the first trophy of Chelsea, so he feels very proud and very happy.
And is he claiming the goal?
Si crees que el gol es tuyo, claro que sí.
Claro.
Of course. Who else? This goal, if he doesn't shoot, it's not a goal.
Petter, many congratulations. You're sort of veterans of this now. What was this one like, Petter?
Well, it's as special as the first one. I think every win of the cup is always special for any player, and you always want to win the finals. You never want to lose the final. So, no, it's been a while since we won the Carling Cup or the Capital One Cup, and we are delighted with the fact that we beat a very good Tottenham side as well.
Didier, were you expecting to get on, or just keeping your fingers crossed?
I was keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm happy that I came, even if it was for 1 or 2 minutes. I don't care. The most important thing today was the result. Another trophy for the club. It's good. One step forward.
You boys were obviously here when you won your first trophy 10 years ago this weekend. What did it do for that team, or what can it do for this team?
It's special. I think, especially the way we played today. We got this confidence that we lost a little bit in the last few days, few weeks. We got it back, and I hope it's going to help us in the next few games and until the end of the season.
Petter, has the manager changed at all in 10 years?
I think he has the same motivation to win trophies, and hopefully we will add the trophies for him and for us and for the football club this season. I think that it's always nice to have the trophy in the middle of the season, because it can give you a boost of confidence and motivation, because you have one under the belt and then you can add the other. So I think let's use it as an advantage for the upcoming games.
Foot of Schürrle or the left of Felipe Luis. It's Schürrle. Denied by the woodwork. Feeling the goalkeeper may have got his fingertips to it to push it onto the frame of the goal. Oscar. The header was by Cahill, and Zuma! Kurt Zuma marks his Chelsea debut with a goal. Cahill with a header that hit a defender, and the loose ball fell so obligingly for the 19-year-old Frenchman. Feeney, Mills, and in! Bolton's first genuine attack, certainly their first chance. Saying that Bolton won here, they did so through a last-minute own goal by Terry. Here's Remy, blocked by Mills. Oscar, he'll have a go too, and he'll score. Crisp and clean from the young Brazilian. Oscar. Schürrle. And still Schürrle. Goalkeeper got lucky that time. Only half a save. Guided it onto a post and it came back straight into his arms.
Bolton coming to the near. Oh, and they've not dealt with it, and Czech beats it away. Knight Percival it was who got up. And then the strike from Bobby Grant.
Wow. You wouldn't have thought that, would you? That it would be Chelsea that suffered the first major scare. Well done at the far post. Petr Cech does extremely well.
Here's Schürrle. Might run for Salah here, and maybe for Drogba! 3 goals in 3 games, and a goal that comes as a huge relief for the Premier League leaders. Here's Ake. Schürrle, he'll take aim! Oh. Really got hold of that. The usual suspects wait. Oh, and Grandison was up, and it's in! How about that for instant impact? Andy Mangan, the substitute, has sent the greenhouse meadow into delirium. And now Oscar, Willian full of running on this near side. Here he is. Able to deliver across. Drogba's in there. Might be an own goal by Grandison in the end. Well, a pretty swift response, and one off the bench, Willian, with a huge involvement in it.
Oh, that's given away by Keogh to Hazard, real danger. Still in, and Hazard, and he really makes Derby pay. Keogh's mistake punished by Eden Hazard, and the Premier League side lead halfway through the first half. Fabregas. Felipe Luis stinging the palms of Lee Grant, but Chelsea, the blue machine, is starting to purr here. Christie. Terry comes across, Russell has got beyond it. Johnny Russell now for Derby, but Will Hughes saved by Petr Cech. Derby's best moment sees Petr Cech deny young Will Hughes. Schürrle, Fabregas, Felipe Luis. And it's Luis who takes! What a way that is to get your first goal for Chelsea! A touch of braziliance from Felipe Luis. Now Bryson,
Here's Johnny Russell. Bryson. They've got one back. 20 minutes to play. As our first-time ball looking for Remy. Buxton just goal side. Needed Grant to come out. Well, Lee Grant slid out of his area. The assistant on this near side is flagging.
He steps across the line of Loic Remy here, you can see that.
Well, the glint of red from John Moss's pocket. He's shown the red card to Jake Buxton. Mikel. Hazard going over the top. Forsyth is in there. Fabregas. Remy, saved by Grant, followed in by Schürrle. That'll be that. It's a third for Chelsea. It's surely a semi-final place for Chelsea.
Two Premier League heavyweights going in search of the first silverware of this season. Ivanovic had hit his standing foot and broke for Philippe Coutinho. He's away from Mikel. Gerrard goes for glory and forces the save.
Terrific effort from Gerrard, he must be 35 yards out there, and that was dipping all over the place.
Here's Willian. Chan just got there ahead of Costa, but Hazard keeps it in. Cesc Fabregas. He did well to keep that one in, and Hazard goes down, and the referee points to the spot. Emre Can had his head in his hands, he can't believe it, but Martin Atkinson was close to it and points to the spot. Eden Hazard has to keep his composure. Coolness personified. Chelsea land the first punch in this semi-final.
It's quite intense, quite a tough battle. It's fast, it's furious.
And he can dish it out and take it, Diego Costa. Here's Sterling, light on his feet, all the way through! What an equaliser for Liverpool, right in front of the Kop! But here's Coutinho trying to break them down again. Sterling shows for him, but it's back to the captain, Gerrard! Hits the post! Sterling with a touchback, Lallana! And it's tipped away by Courtois. For all the patriotic fervour of Champions League nights, there is something special about the big domestic head-to-heads, especially when there is a cup final place at stake, as there is tonight. And here's Oscar. Diego Costa, and Skirtle goes in for the challenge, and the referee decides that Costa dived.
Just look how far away he is from the ball here. I think there's contact there, and Diego Costa has every right to look at the referee and question why he hasn't given it.
Markovic. Gerrard slides in the full-back, Moreno's got him behind, and Courtois comes up with another huge save in this semi-final. Coutinho runs through, and it's another fine stop, this time with his foot, by Thibaut Courtois to deny Coutinho. Oscar. Run on behind him. Hazard has Costa up to his left, and he's done brilliantly to get through, and he can't find the finishing touch. Hazard kept his balance and kept the ball so beautifully, the Chelsea fans willing it to finish, and he couldn't. His partisan home crowd urging their team forward. Oscar. Oh, it's turned back to Costa! And what a tackle that is by Mignolet. It looked set to run to Ramirez, was diverted back and Costa in so quickly, but Mignolet just as sharp with his reaction. Hazard, off the hand of Jordan Henderson, who has already been booked. A shake of the head from Michael Oliver would suggest he's going to take no further action.
It's about 4 yards away as it's played. His left arm lifts up. I think he's a lucky boy.
It's Willian's kick. Ivanovic! It's taken until the 4th minute of stoppage time to separate them, but it's the big defender who's come up with the goods and pushes Chelsea towards a Wembley final. Liverpool searching for that elusive goal. Here's Raheem Sterling, who provided it at Anfield a week ago. And it is wide from Jordan Henderson. It was beyond Balotelli. Henderson behind him, and he couldn't get it on target.